Hi everyone, we're going to take a look at the full moon chart on April 22nd, 2016 in the sign of Aries. It's at 1:24 a.m. Eastern time, but of course times will vary. Okay, you know what struck me about this? It's a full moon in Scorpio, 2 degrees 31 minutes. That's almost my ascendant, exactly. 2:38 Scorpio is my ascendant. But I looked over at the aspectarian thing. I hope you can see it. But it's unaspected. There's nothing. Of course, it's opposed to the sun, and I guess you would take that into account. But that unaspected thing, that just kind of grabbed me. And it's just like, and when a planet is unaspected in a chart, it usually means that either it doesn't behave normally, I guess you could say. Either there's an overemphasis on it, it's expressing itself to the nth degree, or it's receded, or there's an underemphasis, or it's not expressing itself. So it doesn't behave quite normally. I mean, yeah, it's opposing the sun, but I just feel like there's something to that unaspected thing. And in the sign of Scorpio, that's the energy of Scorpio runs the gamut too. It runs the gamut all the way is its highest form of expression as the soaring eagle, and then its lowest form of expression as the stinging Scorpio. So, and then there's the gray lizards in between, which the gray lizard is kind of that way. It's kind of like wishy-washy, not expressing itself. So Scorpio is a sign of extremes in itself, and the unaspected thing of the moon here, there's some, it could go, it's kind of like a wild, it's a wild card. It could kind of go any way. Also, the other thing, there's a couple things, but the thing I want to talk about first is that this South Node and Chiron thing is still going on here, right? And so this is still going in the past, digging up the wounds from the past, from our past, in this incarnation and beyond, and the deep stuff and everything. And with the Scorpio full moon, because a full moon sheds a light or shows some kind of enlightenment around a topic, and these are both water signs, and this both is very deep. This is very deep psychological kind of stuff. Could totally be there. And the South Node talks about the past, and the full moon in Scorpio, ruler of the 8th house, now that I have this chart set up so you can understand this a little better, is the death. It's the house of death. And, it could be a death, but really it's a lot about the past with this tie into this Pisces node. I mean, it's 2 degrees and 20 degrees here. It's not an exact aspect, but there's a tie in there because it's this death, what is past, what has died, what is gone. So I hope you can't hear my buddy's barking up there. My fuzzy buddy's barking. But I'm way in the back, so hopefully you can't hear it. But I'm going to continue forward. Anyways, it's what's past, it's what's died. It's the old hindsight is 20/20 thing, right? And it's what's behind us, and maybe we could have some clarity and some insights, some deep psychological Scorpio kind of insights as to what really went down, what really happened. Understanding, because the 8th house is kind of the house of the others too, like the first house is you, second house is your beliefs and money and stuff, or belongings and money. 7th house is the others and the other people's monies and belongings and stuff. So it's kind of the house of the others too, the 8th house here, which Scorpio rules over. That's why I'm tying that in if you're not following. So it's this house of the others. It's other people's money. I mean, there could be something like that, yeah. But it's also, there could be some kind of understanding of the others. And with the duality of the Scorpio energy, you could totally be the eagle and soar high and take the high road, and understand that whoever you're dealing with has issues that they're going through and dramas that they're going through, and you don't have to get necessarily drug into it, drug down into it. Or you could go the route of the stinging scorpion and you know, see the other for all their faults and all their, you know, shortcomings, and break out that stinger and start attacking, you know, start attacking. And that would be the lower way to go for it, you know. It has to do with the relationship between you and the other, and looking at in the past and taking the other's thing. With Chiron, ultimately we want to have a healing here. You know, a lot of people, I went through some major stuff in this little Aries new moon we just had here, with groups of people, and there was all that Uranus energy, so it was the group, and it's come up in quite a few other people's videos that I've watched. Lee Harris did an excellent video on it, defending yourself against negative people, and then Kate Pacha, of course, did an excellent one, bringing up the asteroid Eris, which I didn't know about, but the mythology follows right in there, the antagonist. And who else did one? I always forget his name. He's in Seattle, because his channel isn't his name. That's why I would forget his name. But he's the guy that does the sermon in Seattle. But he also posted a video that was about Pigable attacking you. And it's interesting how all this stuff kind of bubbles up into the collective unconscious, and everybody's doing videos about it all of a sudden on YouTube. And, you know, I definitely encountered some of that myself, big time. And it was from people from the past, too. And, you know, I don't want to get into all the gory details, but it was actually quite traumatic for me. And in my case, what it showed me, I think, is that at one time I would have went right for that jugular. I mean, I got Scorpio rising, you know, I got, you know, I can go there. You know, I was raised in the bar, and you could get torn to shreds in the bar if you can't stand your ground against people. You know, I was raised to bring out that stinging Scorpio and give it right back. You know, I was raised to in that way. You know, and I've done a lot of work on it. And again, I've said before in videos, sometimes that stuff will pop up and it's like, wow, I thought I'd worked so hard on it, but here it is again. So maybe I have more work to do on it, and that's a definite part of it. You know, I'm sure I do have more work to do on it. But secondly, and I think it's like, there's a couple other aspects to this energy of confrontational people, you know, showing up and getting in your face, you know. There's that. Maybe it's still present within yourself, and you got to work on it some more. Because Scorpios can be mean. You don't want to mess with a Scorpio energy. They will cut you to the ground, you know. And they can be very sharp-tongued because they see all. You can't fool the Scorpio. You can't pull the wool over their eyes. They see all. But so there's this. Okay, well maybe it's still present in me, and I have more work to do. Okay, noted. Secondly, though, and in cases where these are people from way, way in the past, it might be a reflection to see how far you've come. I think was a big thing for me this time. It's like, yeah, you know, maybe 30 years ago I would have gone right back at you. You know, we would have been in, you know, having it out. We would have been in a full-blown fight. But now I'm different. I've changed. Look how much I've changed. Look how far I have come. Give yourself some credit. Maybe I do want to be more like the eagle now. So that's number 2. And what was the third one? I should make notes. I think of all this good stuff and then I try to remember it. There was a third one. Oh, the third one was, you know, standing up for yourself. Just because you're not going to go there anymore, just because you don't want to go in there and roll around in the mud and have this knockdown, drag out fight and pull out all your stingers, all your zingers like a Scorpio might. You know, I remember this. Wow, I know this about you. Wham, wham, wham. You know, sting, sting, sting. Doesn't mean you just lay down and take it either. You know, it's about standing up for yourself while staying in your integrity and not allowed to get your buttons to get pushed, but also not just standing there taking it, not just laying down and here, you know, here's my belly, sting me to death, old Scorpio. You know, it's like, no, take the flight like the eagle, take the high road, take the flight. Possibly cutting death, you know, cut it out, death. A Scorpio, cut it right out of your life. Sometimes that you just have to do that, and it's just like, listen, you know, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but I'm not going to go there with you anymore. I know that maybe this has been our pattern, maybe 30 years ago. Well, that's coming into Saturn stuff, but that's something that's got to be activated in our group chart or something, that what the stuff that I'm, particularly me, that I'm dealing with. But I feel like since it's coming up, a lot of people are dealing with this energy in general. You know, maybe that's the way we always did go at it, you know, in the past, you know, and but that doesn't mean and maybe you're trying to get me to go there. Somebody you've known for 30 years, they know those buttons. They know how to press those buttons and trigger those responses from you. But you can do a reset, and you don't have to go there with them. You can be the eagle. You can soar to the higher realms. You can take that. The Scorpio is expansive, and I was feeling like, I mean, this is a little out there for some people, but I'm feeling like there's all this crazy energy going on, and with this Pisces, it's so deep and it's so much into these past lives and everything. I'm feeling like, you know, we're touching on alternative timelines, you know, and that's also the span that's happening. There's like this big span that's happening. There's your past lives and your future incarnations, or the present moment, and all your incarnations rolled into one, and it's here in this present moment. There's a span of the Scorpio nature, of the wide range of energetic influences or reactions that you could have in there. And there's like the wide range of paths we can walk down and timelines that we can follow. And I feel like these different timelines are kind of touching up against each other. And you know, you could get pulled way down again. You know, if you allow yourself to, you could totally go into gray lizard mode and get pulled way into the darkness again, and lose all the ground that you've gained over this span of time. And you know, when you're changing timelines, is kind of far out there for a lot of people. Let's just say if you're changing your path in life, if you're taking another road, you don't want to react the way you have in the past with certain individuals, or even just certain situations that might keep popping up in your life. This is all past stuff, right? You know, sometimes people are just not going to come along with you. They're just not. And it's nothing to be judgmental about. Oh, well, I'm on a higher plane and I'm floating on the cloud and you're the peasant down in the, you know, no, it's not like that. It's just like, you know, I wish you the best, you know, but I just can't, I'm not going to go in that way anymore. And maybe they're just not going to be with you on this new path or this new road. They just can't, they're not ready to come along in this particular scenario, you know. So it's not anything to feel hateful about anybody else, or again with looking down on them. Well, they just can't comprehend that I'm on this higher plane and blah blah. No, it's none of that stuff. It's just, you know, we're gonna go our separate ways. You're entitled to believe whatever you want. You're entitled to be wherever you want to be. I'm not gonna preach to you. I'm not gonna try to bring you along to my way. I'm just gonna soar like the eagle, baby. That's all there is to it. I'm soaring, you know, and that's all you can do. Do your personal best. Be impeccable in your integrity. That's all you really can do. You know, that's all you can do. Well, let's look at some more stuff in this chart. Enough with the deep, mournful. But Scorpio is kind of deep and mournful, especially with Pisces stuff. You know, it's a death. It's a death and a rebirth. You know, that's what Scorpio is. That's the 8th house. That's what it is. And it's passionate too. A lot of times it can get very passionate and very, you know, it's not always just that easy to say, okay, I'm going to take the high road. There's there's some deep pulls going on there. The other thing that's happening though, and as if you guys watch, I'm sure most everybody watches me, you've seen Kit Pacha's videos too, he talked about Eris being in here. But this Venus conjunct Uranus, this could be, you know, without throwing Eris into the equation, it could be a pretty cool thing here. Venus-Uranus, this is exciting. This is excitement. This is things showing up out of nowhere, you know, totally love thing. And with Aries, it's Mars. It could be a major, like, sexual attraction. It could just be like, oh my God, I met this person and I'm just like crazy mad in love with them. It's just, isn't it crazy? Isn't it wild that we're going on this wild adventure? You know, it could really be something like that. But it could just be any kind of surprise, more or less. It's surprising. It's something surprising. And I feel like with Venus, it can be a totally good surprise. The other thing about the Aries energy is you have to probably act on it immediately. It's not something that with like Scorpio and Pisces that you could kind of dream about and mull over and think about for, you know, long periods of time. It's kind of like, boom, here it is. Are we going to do this or not? You know, it's kind of like grab on. It's like a roller coaster. Grab on, and because we're going. Here we go. So this could be very, especially if your chart's getting hit. Do you have anything around the 20-degree mark at fire or cardinal, which is Aries? You know, in your own chart, this could really be something to just knock your socks off, and a complete change. It could be a complete change that comes out of nowhere with Uranus. And Aries, this is all fast, quick energy, you know, wow, out of nowhere. So this is something that could be really positive and looking forward to. It is squaring, it's still in orb with the square to Pluto, you know, so change, big changes. The other thing that's happening now is the sun's moving into Taurus. This is a full moon, but the sun is in Taurus now. It's opposing the Taurus sun. And then we've got this Mercury and this stuff over here in Taurus too. Mercury in Taurus is very expressive, create through creativity. And that was another, you know, Venus Uranus can be creative too. Venus, you know, this is creativity. The ruler of Taurus, flashes of insight and great creative ideas. Through creativity in traditional forms, such as music, art, poetry, writing, with Mercury, might be something lyrical on that line. But also through scientific, like discoveries and stuff. Because creativity comes in all sorts of forms. I've said this a million times, you know. It's not just the arts. Scientific breakthroughs, inventions, totally. Things like that, right? But what I wanted to get to with this Vesta and this Mercury here, sometimes these things, these deep emotional wounds and these deep things that go on, you know, psychological, emotional, you know, hurtful, tumultuous energies that we kind of have been in, sometimes that doesn't, it's hard to express. It's hard to put into words. It's hard to verbalize. And this creativity in the sign of Mercury would help that. But sometimes what I was going to say, sometimes it's, if you can't really express it, sometimes you can. It's easier to express through some abstract concept such as a poem or a song or a piece of art, or, you know, sometimes you can express things more. Sometimes it's easier to translate it into that form than to really intellectualize it or verbalize it, you know, come out in that way. So, you know, it could be really creative. It could be a fun adventure. There could be some sort of fun adventure, you know, happening here, kicking off. Scorpio ultimately is letting it go. It's elimination. This is the house of elimination. So, you know, like a ZZ Top, go ahead and deal with it or leave it alone. You know, just like that, you know. One way or another, these things are coming to an end. I mean, maybe you could say, oh, well, you're an asshole, and I'm gonna hold a grudge and hate you for another 30 years. I'm gonna drink that poison. You know, you could go, because Scorpios can brood. That Scorpio energy can be very brooding, and grudge. Anybody holds a grudge, it's a Scorpio, right? But again, there's that wide range of from the lizard to the eagle, the stinging Scorpio to the eagle. There's a wide range of timelines or paths that are opening up that you can walk through. And it ultimately comes down to you. It comes down to you. Each in our own lives to make our own choices. It's not anybody else's fault. Nobody can make you do anything. Nobody, well, they started some shit with me, and that's why I behaved badly, because they pushed my buttons, so I had no choice but to let them have it. No, you do have a choice. You have a choice. You don't have to let them have it. You don't have, you know. There's you know, so many choices. There's more than 3. There's more than the scorpion, the lizard, and the eagle. There's many, every flavor in between you can choose to do. It just feels like with this Pisces South Node, you know, it's really, though, it's deeper than just little argument that's happening right now. It's affecting you on a soul level all over the place. You know, maybe. It can be, if you want to go that deep. Speaking of soul level and past life stuff, I am bringing back the soul readings. They're on the chart. They're on the my order page. That's these things. This is, if you're watching this, you probably have an inkling of astrology. So what I do is I look at your chart. It's a psychic reading. I'm totally doing it psychically. But I'm looking mostly at past lives and why you're here. So if you're at this point where you're wondering, well, why the hell am I here? You might want to look at my soul reading. And I've come out with a bunch of these new coloring books. I was in a massive creative mode here. I've got the Animal Totem coloring book. They're all on Amazon. You can find the link. And I did the new one, 2 new ones. An astrology one, which is cool. It's just a short one with 12 page, 12 coloring. And then the rock art one as well. Here's the astrology one. And it's kind of cool because it has some information in it too. Let me blow up one. It has the sign, the planet, the element, the part of the body, the phrase. Oh, you probably can't even see that, can you? Well, rather than readjust the camera, let me do this. There, you can see it. See, down at the bottom of each coloring thing, there's all this stuff. And the brightest star, which, that's what this is. Each one will have its constellation on there. It's got the Aries, like, so this is Aries. We got Aries, its ruling planet of Mars, the constellation, the name, and something to color. So there's 12 of those. That's one coloring book. And then this other affirmation one is, I think, the coolest one by far yet. It's just like words over and over again, and then it gives you some journal space. It's like breathe. This is breathe, 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 breathe. And it gives you a little bit of journal space at the bottom. I think I do have to turn this thing down a little. There you go, so you can see it. So it's pretty cool, and it's very therapeutic. And like on the affirmation ones, there's 30 affirmations, and then this is one that's really cool. The eye, one of my faves. You can't see the top now. I did it too much. Let's see if I can do it back up there. There you go. Sort of. But, here's a few of the ones from the affirmation one. Shine, sing, smile, soar. They're alphabetized. Thrive. And then I think this is one that I just wrote words. I am beautiful. I am protected. I am healing. I am at peace. I allow love into my life. I allow forgiveness. I invite integrity. I invite cooperation. I believe in myself. I believe I am worthy. I believe I can succeed. So I have I am, I allow, I invite, I believe. And then you have more pages where you can write your own. This is just I am, and you just write in whatever you want. I allow, I invite, I believe. And then a bunch of blank pages too. So, it's pretty cool and pretty fun if you want to check it out. It's all, if you go to that order page, you can find everything, including how to make a donation, which is always appreciated, my new tarot deck, the other oracle cards that I've done, the tarot book, everything's here. Some astrology reports, and the mandalas, and here's the soul readings, which are back. I'm going to be doing the soul readings. It's a private video. It's all about your chart and you and your soul path. So if you are interested in that kind of thing, you might want to order it now. Okay, so here it is, full moon in Scorpio. Are you going to soar like the eagle? It's up to you. It's all in your hands. Okay. Hey everyone, thanks for donating, liking, sharing everything you do to support the channel. Remember, you are love and beauty incarnate. Have a great full moon, and I'll speak to you soon.